Hello, my name is Chris Flavelle. I am the training manager at Dahua Technology. Today we're going to be talking about the Tioc 3.0 range, and we're going to focus heavily on the fixed lens Tioc Pro camera. Okay, we have three different types of megapixel ratings. We got 4, 6 and 8. 4 and 6 will both be seen as a 16:9 ratio, and 8 megapixels will be a 4:3 ratio. Okay, so the first thing that we should obviously address is this sensor. So this 1/1.8 inch sensor will be able to allow in 110% more light within the actual camera view. Whenever we compared this between the older models, then of course the actual view of the nighttime condition is fantastic. Midnight with some ambient light in the field of view could be mistaken for 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This is going to be the unique selling point of this product. It literally allows you to see in the dark. Okay, now normally during a low illumination test, I normally cover the decking lights because I think it gives cameras an unfair advantage. However though, these are two of my best phones. One of these is a Samsung mobile phone. However though, as you can see, I can barely see anything. There's a street light. I think you can tell which one's the Samsung now. However though, with all of that said, look what we can see from the Tioc Pro. And as you see, there's no illuminator on. There's no white light illuminator. There's no infrared. And this is what we see. So, some upgrades on the actual Tioc Pro. So, we've got the better lighting conditions. We've now got better sound quality, definitely including the voice capture technology, where you can in fact actually hear the voice, but of course obviously cutting out those ambient sounds. Now, in this live stream, we've actually done a couple of recordings. Let me just show you one of those now. Okay, I'm 7.5 meters away, 2 dual microphones. You're even going to hear a car hit that grate. See? The main road is all the way over there. Tioc Pro. Tioc Pro has dual pickup microphones. Okay, this is a test of the false sound filter of the Tioc Pro. It's focusing on my voice because that's what we want to hear. You can probably barely hear that fan. That fan is blowing directly towards the lens. The tree in the background is moving quite well. In this case here, you won't hear that sound because it's not a priority. My voice is the priority. If anybody thought that this video was fake, a perfect situation. As you see, that was massively impressive. So of course, like all of that air going into the microphones was all cut out and reduced. However though, my voice was incredibly clear. That was an excellent demonstration. Another element to the actual improvements is also LDC, lens distortion correction. Now of course, in most situations, just like any other camera, then of course obviously lenses are circular. In some environments you might actually see buildings or edges where they've got just that slight curve. However though, with the lens distortion correction, then of course when you turn that on, it will straighten everything up. Okay then, and then moving on to the event, of course obviously working with artificial intelligence, we got tripwire, we got intrusion, we got loitering detection, so for whenever you go into the box for too long of a duration, and then of course obviously the main player, AccuPick. Okay, and then of course, obviously, the really big one, Aquapic. Okay, so you may have seen some videos on Aquapic before. However, though, now Aquapic is all in the actual Tioc Pro. So of course, with that said, you can just do a one-click similarity between the person you're looking for, the vehicle you're looking for, and of course, as you see from my demonstration, just by clicking on that body once, we'll be able to generate all of the other images that that camera has seen that person or seen that vehicle within a field of view with just one click. Okay, in regards to the safety of the installation, the Tioc Pro has a dual power connection and both of those will work simultaneously. The camera's also been configured that if any one of those electrical sources was to be disconnected, the other one will kick in immediately, ensuring that the product always stays on. If you were to disconnect your PoE but you've got your 12 volt in, camera stays on. If you disconnect your 12 volts and you've got your PoE in, camera stays on. If you include a micro SD card into the actual camera's head, and of course you lose these power connections while one of them is always remaining on, you won't even see any glitches in the recording. The product will always stay on, no interruptions. Okay, now on the Tioc Pro, the components for the Smart Dual Light have now been fused together. So of course on Tioc 2, the infrared was on either side of the lens. Tioc 1 only had white light illuminators, but on the Tioc Pro, they're now the same component, allowing the actual camera to just work faster whenever that human walks into the field of view. As you notice, we've got this demonstration now, and you'll see it's only 1 second. You won't be able to count the time between the blue box of the tracking around me and the clock in the top right hand corner. The time that you've said 1, the light is already on. Okay, excellent feature. Okay, now of course the actual camera will be working with the Smart Dual Light. So that's whenever we use the infrared, working with smart motion detection. Once a human comes into the field of view, the white lights will turn on, everybody will be perceived in color, and then of course we will get a good accurate image of course obviously who's in the field of view at that time. Whenever that person exits the field of view, then of course it will go back to infrared. If you continue to push your luck and you get too close to the property, then I guess the red and blue and siren will be triggered. So with the improvements on Smart Dual Light, you would actually see when we pull closer, the components are now exactly the same. Tioc 2 used to have infrared on either side. Tioc 1 used to have only white light illuminators. So whenever I'm looking at this Tioc Pro, you're actually going to see that the infrared and the white light illuminator is the same component, allowing it to work even faster than previous models. Because of what we've done with this particular design, then of course the actual white light spectrum is even larger now. So of course this will be able to illuminate the scene more so than previous models. Okay, now we've made some improvements on the Tioc Pro. On Tioc 2, working with the smart motion detection and the smart illumination, if you did come into the field of view, then of course the white light would come on. It didn't really matter where you came into the field of view. It saw a human, the light comes on. When we talk about Smart Dual Light, working with smart motion detection, which is powered by video motion detection, this time when you put the actual region of where you want video motion detection will work, that's only when the white light will work. So of course, no more false alarms as people walk past your property. This time, whenever you come over the actual threshold, then of course you get into that area, then the white light will come on. So we don't need to waste white light illumination for people we don't need to see any longer. We could do this with the Tioc Pro. Now, with the actual lighting conditions, we have various different abbreviations. We've got WDR, BLC, HLC, highlight compensation, backlight compensation, wide dynamic range, but now we've got AISSA, self-scene adaptive, which means the actual camera will in fact actually do all of the thinking for you to best decide the imaging conditions for the field of view it's looking at. So you just turn on the AISSA, and then of course any poor lighting conditions, the camera will make a correction. Within regards of accuracy of human and motor vehicle, then of course we're going to be talking about the Smart Motion Detection 4.0. On today's date, with the latest firmware, Smart Motion Detection 4.0 now has a 99.5% accuracy. Nothing, of course, obviously is 100%, except for the word 100%. However, though, the accuracy of this camera is incredibly high. No more false alarms. Okay, a new one, average bitrate. So for years we've had constant bitrate, variable bitrate. Constant bitrate is of course obviously the camera doing exactly what it's told to do. The variable bitrate adjusting the complexities within the field of view to in fact actually make storage a little bit more efficient. But now the average bitrate. So the average bitrate will study the scene and study the field of view over a 24-hour period. It will then adjust the bitrate for a future prediction, and of course it will then control the bitrate of what it's going to do. So of course, for example, let's take a standard office. If you have those nice big brick columns in there, and those columns haven't moved because they've been static there the whole time over the last 24 hours, then of course the camera won't focus on those columns as much because they haven't moved. They're just static columns. So of course, as of which the average bitrate will work between VBR, CBR, take an average of a future prediction, and then of course control your bandwidth and your storage incredibly efficiently.